Morning, good afternoon, good evening. Just gonna wait for some people to join. There we go. Hi, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, it's good to be here with you guys this morning. Feeling very triggered. Join my world. Absolutely. Oh, I came to you in your dream last night. That's so crazy. Dreams have been really intense. Hi, Lebanon. Just gonna wait a minute or two to let people join, and then I'm gonna go into my sermon this morning. Good morning, Gina. Thank you so much for the badge. Hello, Chad. Uh-oh. Aloha, Mile. I'm not sad. Good morning. I like how people like to label you certain emotions or whatever because you are feeling. It's like, that's one of my rants this morning is like, God forbid we shouldn't be feeling positive, happy, cheerful, and if we're irritated, if we're upset, if we're in a depressed state, if we're in what people like to call, lower states or lower vibrations, if we are in that, God forbid, oh, you're sad today. Oh, you're this. Oh, I'm so sorry you're feeling that way. Why? It's a natural human state. And if you don't feel it, tell me your secret, because welcome to the human journey. We act like it's so abnormal to feel the states that we don't like to feel, right? So it's like, oh, God forbid, I'm so sorry that you're feeling that way today. Why? You don't ever say it because it doesn't feel good? Okay, so what? It's like, I swear to God, my job on this planet is to make the uncomfortable fucking popular, is to make the lower states okay. We have this idea. I'm just like in such a mood this morning because I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of us not just being brutally honest about how we're feeling. As if there's some way that we're supposed to feel and then a way that we're not supposed to feel. So we have to keep the feelings that we're not supposed to feel hidden from people, because if we tell people how we're actually feeling, then they're going to judge us like this person did to me. Oh, you're so sad today. No, I'm not. I'm just feeling all the feels, right? Like, why can we not just do this? Why? This evolution that you are in, this human expansion in your consciousness, this evolution in consciousness, this ability to move through lower states of consciousness into higher states of consciousness, which is just being in all these different states, all these different ways of being, awarenesses, okay? This is you awakening into duality. We live in a dualistic world, a planet that is dualistic because of the states of frequency that we stand in. Duality means that there's going to be opposites. Period. You can't bypass that. You can't choose to not see the other side of the coin. So if there is greed, there's going to be abundance. If there is fear, there is going to be love. If there is evil, there is going to be joy. Right? These things are going to be felt. If there is sadness, there's going to be laughter. And the way that we go through a massive global human evolution is that we have to be able to honestly admit and experience the duality. This fucking idea that we have to be positive, that we have to that we can't feel irritability, that we can't feel sadness, that we can't feel anger, that these are bad things to feel, is the biggest fucking lie. I just can't, it makes me angry because it's the only way through your evolution. The way through your evolution, the way through your awakening is that you are so brutally honest with duality, with polarity. You're so brutally honest with what you're feeling that you're not trying to fix yourself. You're not trying to hold back what you are absolutely, unequivocally, naturally feeling. This is a natural process. It's almost like we're in a pilgrimage, okay? In the middle of a desert. And the natural elements of the desert, okay, the heat, no water, hot sand, okay, is equivalent to the natural elements of this third dimensional world, which is programming, deep programming. You're supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do this. You need to be like this. You don't need to be like this. This is the only way through. This is not the way through, right? Those are deep, deep programs. And then trauma. Massive, massive trauma. Those are the natural elements of being a human. Which means you can't get out of that. Okay? And the programming and the trauma are going to create limiting thoughts. Thoughts that you're unworthy, that you're not deserving, that you have only deserve conditional love, that you're in a state of lack, that you shouldn't feel depression, that you shouldn't feel sadness, that you shouldn't feel anger. You should only be feeling these certain things. That is deep programming and trauma. So here we all are, 7 point whatever billion. There's probably less now because they're killing us, but that's a whole other story. We're on a pilgrimage in the desert. And there are these natural elements that we're starting to walk through. We're starting to become aware of. What do you think you're going to be able to do? Hide from it? Pretend that you can't feel the sun coming down? Pretend that you're not thirsty because there's no water for 3 days? Are you going to pretend that you're not feeling certain things? Are you going to hide it? It's the same thing. This is a natural process. Everything you're feeling, this duality, this standing in this world and looking at the corruption and the evil and the greed and the holy shit, while you simultaneously remember what you're going through, how much courage it takes to walk this pilgrimage, to see everything that's going to come into your awareness and to keep going, to get up every day and to keep going. That's insane. What we're doing is insane. And we're not in control of it. What you're in control of is your state of being. It's your state of being that you're in control of, which means how are you going to choose to go through it? And what that means is you don't change or get upset with yourself that you wake up sad or depressed or angry or irritable. You don't say, oh my God, I better go change this. Your state of being is, wow, am I going to judge myself or am I going to have compassion for myself? That is the choice. Do you understand? If you understand that we are on a pilgrimage going through a desert, all of us, the desert, the pilgrimage is the evolution in human consciousness. You can't control the natural environment. You can't control what you may feel like when you wake up in the morning, what you may feel like 7 hours from now. What you control is the way that you're going to view it. I'm walking through the desert, and in 3 days, I may find a big pool of water. I'm going to be so stoked when I find that pool of water. But right here, right now, there's no water. So I can either bitch and moan and complain about the fact that there's no water. I can have a temper tantrum and be a victim and try to change the fact that there's no water by trying to positive think my way into water. Or I can accept what is. There's no water. I can accept what is. I'm irritated. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. I'm sad. I'm depressed. You fucking accept it. You just let it be and you keep going. You don't drown in it. You don't say, woe is me. I can't believe there's no water, because you don't know what's coming. You don't know what's going to be in front of you. You don't know that in 24 hours, there's going to be a huge pool of water on this desert that you're walking, this pilgrimage. But if you stay so freaking focused on what you're in, as if it is everything, as if you are it, then you're going to be stuck in it. This is what flow is all about. Flow is like, I'm in a desert, I'm walking through an evolutionary process, I'm going to feel all kinds of stuff, I don't give a shit, I'm just going to feel it. I'm going to feel it, I'm going to let it be okay. In fact, not only am I going to feel it and let it be okay, I'm going to start talking about it to people. When somebody asks me how I'm doing, I'm not going to bullshit and say, oh, I'm doing fine, I'm doing great, I'm doing really good. I'm not going to, why? Why are we continuing to perpetuate that bullshit lie? We're all on a desert, you guys. This is not to say that it's not important to take care of yourself. This is not to say that it's not important to shift your focus, right? If you're in a state and it's just like you're playing this loop in your head of, oh my God, I'm so depressed. Oh my God, oh my God. You go outside and you walk or you move your body or you do something different. It's going to shift you. Yes. But you're not trying to get yourself, you're not judging what you're in and saying, I have to get out of this. You're just moving through your day. You're just moving through the pilgrimage in this desert. And the more that you can remember that this is a natural process, this is a natural process. You're going to see more evil. You're going to see more shadow in yourself. You're going to see more, you're going to feel more things that you don't want to feel. I promise you, you are going to. And if you try to continue to ignore what you don't want to feel, because you have been programmed to believe that you are perpetuating it, that you're perpetuating the anger or the sadness or the depression because you're simply feeling it, that is bullshit. That's like saying, I'm in a desert, okay? And during this 3 hours, the sun is really beaming down on me. I'm going to somehow figure out a way to fix that sun so it's not beaming down on me. Dude, the sun's beaming down on you. There's nothing you can do. You can fight against it. You know, you can try to pretend that the sun's not there. You can try to mantra and positive think your way through the next 3 hours, but the sun's there. It's coming down. Okay, so what? Next? What else is going on? One foot in front of the other. One foot in front of the other. And then what you notice is you start moving through everything with ease and grace. You don't like it, so what? If you continue to fight against what you're in, this evolutionary process, this desert, this pilgrimage that every single human is walking through, we're all in this desert together. We all are. And there are going to be days where it's like the most glorious day and you're in so much joy and peace and everything is great. And then there's going to be days where it's not so great. You give the same amount of attention to both days. You give the same amount of validity to both days. You feel the same for both days. If we continue to separate good emotions from bad emotions, if we continue to separate good thoughts from bad thoughts, if we continue to separate good behaviors from bad behaviors. Now, I'm not saying there isn't good and bad. What I'm saying is in your own personal world, I'm not talking about what's happening in the external world. In your own internal world, if you stop focusing on the good and the bad, the right and the wrong, but instead, just you personally, if you instead just see it as the natural process of evolution. And your only job in this world that you're in, your only job is to feel it, to observe it, and then to choose your state of awareness, your state of being with it. You're going to be in a lot less suffering, and you are not going to be afraid of the world. You're not going to be afraid of what you're feeling. You're not going to be afraid of anything. You're going to be free. Free. Doesn't mean you're not going to be unhappy sometimes with what you're feeling, or you're not going to like it. But when you start to recognize what's happening here and you stop ignoring it, denying it, pretending. Think about this, okay? Think about how even the idea, okay? Even the idea that feeling happy and joyous and excited and elated is the right way to be. It's the way that you want to be. Even in that state of being, you are going to consciously or unconsciously deny when other emotions want to come up and be felt. Because all you're focused on is really wanting to just feel the good, really wanting to just feel the positive. That is impossible. It's impossible in this evolution. The greatest gift that humanity could give themselves. There's a lot of great gifts. Getting rid of the evil. Getting rid of the controlled humans that are controlling us. They're not even humans, but there's a lot of great gifts. But one of the greatest gifts is if we finally broke out of this fucked up program that we have to be in higher states of consciousness all the time. That is truly, in my opinion, what is holding us back from evolving. Sorry, but it's true. Because in this idea that you have to be in a higher state of awareness, you have to be in a high vibration, you are separating yourself from the natural process of evolution. And you are deciding from an egoic state of awareness what is the right way. From a higher state of awareness, there is no right way. You're only going through. From a higher state of awareness, a higher vibrational state, you're not trying to steer yourself into higher vibrational states. You're walking through the desert and you're saying, whatever comes, comes. I'm just going to keep walking. A windstorm comes, fuck, this windstorm is insane. I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to all of a sudden try to figure out how to stop the windstorm and bring in only sun. Because I'm going to show how powerful I am and how I can manifest and change my environment and my reality. This is all an inverted matrix. It's an inverted matrix, which means that what we have been programmed to believe, the actual reality is the opposite. Everything. So the world, the matrix we live in is inverted, which means that if you flip it inside out, that's actually the natural state of being for a human. So everything that we have been taught, even in the spiritual community, needs to be flipped. Even in the spiritual community, there is deep, deep programming. It's infiltrated. So if we are taught that we have to, stay positive, if we're taught that we can't feel certain lower vibrational states, if we're taught that if we focus on these things and talk about it, that we're perpetuating it, flip it, invert it, and there is the magic. That's the actual true state of being. I want you to try to imagine that every single day You're simply peeling away programming. And when you do that, I want you to imagine every single day that you're walking through a desert that has a natural elemental factor in it. And your job is to simply just keep walking, not try to control anything. And from that state, you start to become aware of something bigger than yourself, an energetic force that is bigger than you, that is you, that is guiding you. There is so much more that is guiding us than our own small egoic structure that wants to control everything. So much more. And what I think is one of the most challenging parts of awakening right now is this juggling act. It is so intense and beautiful and magical, and there's not enough words to describe what we're going through. But one of the biggest challenges or struggles, in my opinion, is this juggling act of, shit, I gotta walk through this desert with my hands up, which means I'm not controlling anything, which means I may get sunburned, I may get dehydrated, but I have to trust that there is something so much bigger than my own small egoic structure that's trying to figure this out. Something so much bigger that is guiding me through this. There's a reason for it. There's a purpose for it. If I get out of my own way, if I stop trying to control this pilgrimage, it might be a lot easier. It might just be a lot easier. And one of the most courageous things about incarnating down into a human body in this third dimensional realm during this time of evolution, which is a physical evolution, a physical energetic shift, not a mental shift. This is a physical shift in energy. It's a physical shift in consciousness. What does that mean? It means your physical body is literally, physically changing. It's changing. It's literally shifting into more energy. And when that happens, it is inevitable and impossible to not feel way more than you ever have before. In fact, if some genie or some god came down and said to you, hey, you want to know the secret to getting through this? Every time you feel anything, feel it all. Feel it. Just feel it. And that it will get you through this evolution faster. You would do it. In fact, you would be sharing it with people like, oh my God, I felt like shit yesterday. It was so intense. And I was like, damn, I hate this. And I was so irritated and I was yelling at my partner, but man, I really felt it. And then your friend's going to be like, damn, way to go. Shit, that's amazing. Instead of, oh, I'm fine. Everything's good. Yeah, I'm just getting through it. Such bullshit. I'm so tired of it. So sick and tired of it. Invert everything. It's so crazy because from a higher dimensional state of awareness, kind of looking down at the human experience, it's easy to see how to do this, how we do this. You know, you like if you're like an alien, right? And you're looking down at the human and you're just like, you know, like your guides, okay? They're like, dude, Lorie, just feel it today. That's it. Stop trying to figure it out, control it, heal it. Girlfriend, if you just felt it, everything's good because tomorrow's going to be different and the next day is going to be different. And me, the human, right? You, the human, you're like, fuck, why am I feeling this again? How do I get out of this? This is not okay. Then we're judging ourselves and we're beating ourselves up. And there's a lot of efforting in that. There's a lot of energy that goes into you debating with yourself, arguing with yourself, judging yourself, berating yourself. So much energy in that. And if you just took the lens of an alien that was looking down at you like your guide and saying, girl, just imagine you're in a desert and right now there ain't any water and it sucks, but just keep going. Just keep walking. And stop pretending that everything's okay if it's not okay. If there's anything you get from this talk this morning, pay attention to how you pretend to be okay with people. Just pay attention to it. Pay attention to how other people will pretend that they're okay. That is a deep, deep program that is keeping us out of evolution, quickly evolving, if there is such a thing as quickly evolving. It's like, imagine this. There's billions of humans walking the same direction in the desert, okay? And all of the humans have gone 2 days without water. You're mother freaking thirsty. You turn to some people to your right, some humans that are on the same evolutionary path, the same pilgrimage, and you're like, dude, I'm so thirsty. And they're like, I'm not thirsty, I'm good. Excuse me? No, I'm good. I'm not thirsty. What do you mean you're thirsty? Why would you be thirsty? We haven't had water in 2 fucking days. Where have you been? That's the kind of bullshit that we see every single day with people, including ourselves. And it's bullshit. You're lying to yourself. What's the problem with just being like, I'm freaking thirsty? That's weak. Then you're giving into that reality. Giving into the reality, that is the reality. This is the other bullshit program, right? That if you actually speak to the reality that you're in, which is the present moment, somehow you're giving power over to that reality, creating that reality. No. Such a mind fuck in the spiritual community when people do this and they say this to you. In a present moment state, there is no such thing as trying to control, change, or shift your reality. There are no timelines that you're fucking jumping into, excuse my language. No, a lot of people are not going to like this talk, but whatever. You're not jumping timelines. In a present moment, you're simply experiencing what is. You're experiencing what is. When you buy into the programming that says change your reality by thinking differently, you're pulling yourself out of the present moment state, which is the only place that is teaching you how to evolve. How is it teaching you how to evolve? In that state of uncomfortableness. That is where you choose your state of being. When you try to change your reality, you're bypassing. Lots of people are going to say no to this. They're going to want to argue it. You're bypassing when you try to change your reality based on the reality that you're actually in. So I wake up in the morning, and in that moment, as I'm waking up, I feel anxiety. From that now moment state of feeling that anxiety, first of all, if you go even deeper into the now moment, you won't feel any of it. But let's just stay with the layers of awareness that we're sort of at as a human collective. From a layered present moment state, right? Because it's all layered. You're feeling that anxiety. The human that is actually courageously choosing to evolve is not going to try to change their reality and say, okay, how do I get out of this anxiety? The evolving human is going to say, from an observer perspective, wow, I'm feeling anxiety, or I'm feeling depression, or I'm feeling irritability, or I'm feeling sadness, or I'm feeling lack, right? This is an energy that's moving through me. And I know that in this now moment, there's going to be another now moment where this may not be going through me. So all I need to do is keep showing up for every now moment and let the actual natural progression of this pilgrimage show me what is next. That is true empowerment. That's true sovereignty. That takes a shit ton more courage than trying to positive think your way out, change your way out of it. Because when you try to do that, what you're basically saying to yourself is you don't trust the natural process of how this works. This isn't to say that you linger in it. And there's a difference, you guys, I've spoken about this a lot, but there's a difference between woe is me, this sucks, I'm in this, I am the anxiety, I am the depression, I am the unworthiness, I am the lack. If you think that, then you are identifying as it, and then it's going to become like a snowball. If you're identifying as what you're experiencing in that reality, which most people do, which is why that old program of change your thoughts, change your mind, change your reality, that's why it's so powerful. That's why it's such a huge program that people believe, because they actually identify as what they're experiencing, and they're so afraid of that identification that they take control through the ego and they try to change it because they believe that they are it and that it has control over them. So then they're like, oh my God, I've got to change my reality. I've got to change my thoughts. I got to positive think. I got to do all these things. That's why that programming is so intense. That's why it's so popular. That's why there's billions of books written about it and massive amounts of teachers that talk about it. But it's a lower state. It's a program state. When you move into a higher state of awareness, when you start to understand what's actually happening here, that you're going through a natural progression, that this is a pilgrimage in a desert, and all you need to worry about is what is in the present moment, that it's energy, and that you just need to keep going because you're none of it, everything changes. Everything. It doesn't make any sense, all these old programs that we've listened to, that we've watched, that we've read. It doesn't make sense. Not when you actually start living from a higher state of awareness. And by the way, when you start living from a higher state of awareness, when you start living in more of a flow state, when you start living in more of a present moment state, guess what doesn't happen? You're not all of a sudden finding yourself in bliss and joy all the time. That is the biggest misconception and lie. When you start living in more of a flow state and more of a present moment state and higher states of consciousness, higher states of awareness, you are actually feeling way more than you ever did before, which is why you are continuing to live in that flow state. The more that you feel, the more important it is to stay in flow. The more that you move into higher states of awareness, the higher states of consciousness, and the more that you feel, they're simultaneous, they happen at the same time. So if you start raising your state of awareness, your state of consciousness, or your vibration, and you're honest about this, and you're showing up for life, you are going to feel way more than you ever have before. Which is why your state of being, your state of awareness is so important, because you are moving into the present moment state. You're moving into presence more and more. You have to. You have to start living in presence, because you're going to start feeling so much more. And if you try to live in the old programmed ways, it's not going to make sense. You're not going to be able to do it. Another big lie is that moving into higher states of awareness means that you're all of a sudden just going to feel love and light and bliss and joy and all these things. It's going to take a while for humanity, for you and for I, to clear out all of the trauma and all of the programming, the natural elements. We've got to clear this shit out of our bodies. That's what you're doing. So imagine as you're walking through the desert, okay? You're walking through you're on your pilgrimage. There is so much density in your body. There's so much programming and trauma that every day that you are walking through the desert on your pilgrimage, you're going to be losing layers of trauma, layers of programming. How do you lose layers of programming and layers of trauma? You feel. You feel. That's how you do it. You feel. So as you go day by day on your pilgrimage, guess what's going to happen? The layers of programming and trauma are going to peel off. Guess what that means? You're going to feel. And you are doing a massive disservice to yourself if you don't show up authentically on your pilgrimage and just feel. You are not what you're feeling. You're not what you are feeling on the pilgrimage. You are letting go of the layers of programming, the natural elements of this human experience, the layers of programming and trauma every day. You can't bypass that. And as each day goes by, it gets easier and easier to feel. And then you just start showing up authentically with friends and family. And you're like, today's a day where it's heavy, it's dense, it's this, it's that, whatever it is. Who cares? We're all on the pilgrimage. Why lie about it? Why pretend that you're not thirsty when you're thirsty? It's bullshit. You know, it's too much energy. And it's not true. It's not real. It's not honest at all. And every day that you move deeper and deeper into your pilgrimage, into this evolution, into this awakening, into these higher states of consciousness, the density starts to leave the body more and more. More density leaves the body. Density is the programming and the trauma that are in these lower vibrational states. They're in your body. They're stored in your physical body. This is a physical evolution. This is a physical transformation. Physically, your physical body has to purge the heaviness, the density, the darker energies, the lower energies, whatever the word you want to use, the shadow, whatever that is. It has to purge it. It only can purge it by you bringing awareness to what you're feeling. That purges it. It's that simple. We make this way more complicated. It's truly that simple. All day long, just think about yourself walking through the desert, being as authentic and raw and real as you possibly can. And the more that you can just feel everything by not identifying with it and staying present with it and not buying into all these bullshit programs that we're taught, right? All this programming that we're taught, the easier it is that you'll navigate this. And then you won't be trying to control anything. You'll have no fear over anything. You'll be free. And I guarantee you will be simultaneously feeling yourself in higher states of awareness while you are simultaneously feeling depression or anxiety or stress or worry. And you're juggling both. Welcome to this moment in our evolution where you're going to feel all of it. You are not simply going to feel the high vibrational states. That is such utter bullshit. You're going to feel even more of the duality. And the greatest gift in that is that you're going to feel yourself in these higher states. You're going to feel yourself free while you're also waking up with anxiety or sadness or irritability. Yes, it's all of it at the same time. It's all of it. This idea of separation that you only should be doing and feeling these higher states is such a disservice to humanity. The way you feel the higher states and all those beautiful things that we want to feel, that flow and that ease and that freedom, is by feeling everything that's coming up. I have never been in the states of awareness and consciousness that I am right now. Never. And I have also never felt the deep, dark shadow that I'm feeling at the same time. I have never felt the intensity of emotions that I'm feeling now. And I have never felt the higher states of awareness that I'm feeling now. I have never been in this much of a flow state in my entire life. I have never been in this much of a present moment state in all of my life. I have never been this detached from the external world, meaning I am all of these things and I need all of these things. The way I am living my life right now is a way that I never have before. It is truly miraculous and a miracle, but I am also simultaneously allowing myself to feel the irrational irritability, the frustrations, the stress or anxiety that may come up, the depressive states that I may feel. I don't give a fuck because I know that I'm not it. So why the fuck do I care what's coming up? Excuse my language, but I'm just going to feel it. because I am simultaneously also feeling these amazing states of awareness and consciousness, and I'm not trying to hold one or the other. I'm not trying to hold either of them. I'm allowing all of it. I'm just allowing it. I'm juggling it. That's the greatest gift that we can give ourselves. Can you just allow all of it? Can you just allow all of it? Stop separating the experiences that you're having. We are all on this pilgrimage in the desert together, arm in arm. And I dare you to be even more courageous, knowing that you are not what you're feeling. You are not what you're doing. You are not what you're thinking. You're none of it. And that the only way through this pilgrimage is to be so courageous in your human journey that you allow yourself to just feel all of it. And that you pay acute attention to the deep programming that tells you that you need to feel or be or do a certain thing a certain way. There are no rules on this pilgrimage in this desert. No rules. It's simply surviving. It's surviving. And there's a freedom and massive freedom when you just allow yourself to be brutally honest with how you're feeling. You know, a friend of mine, a couple nights ago, he was talking about what he was going through and showing up for humanity and all of these things, right? And I was just listening, and I was like, yeah, okay, keep going. Yep, okay, yep, okay. And I was just like, internally, I was cheering him on, like, get more angry, get more frustrated, like, yes, you know. And a day or two later, he was like, I thought you were, you know, wanted space from me because, you know, I exploded, or I went down this rabbit hole or something like that. And I was like, are you joking? Fuck no. Like, more of that, please. More of that. Because when you are able to be brutally honest with somebody, when you are able to just literally diarrhea from the mouth, what you're feeling and what you're going through and the frustration you have, there is a freedom and an empowerment to that. Because you're not it. But it's your experience. So get it out. Who gives a shit? And if you have people in your life that are judging you, if you have people in your life that are telling you not to feel this, to just positive think your way, to just flip it, right? If you have people in your life that are telling you that you're perpetuating that you just need to like, no, you just need to like imagine a reality where you're not feeling this, or you just need to like, fuck off. Excuse my language. I'm cussing a lot, but it's like, I'm so sick of it. No. What is the brutal truth of what is arising within you that wants to come up? Speak it. Don't have people around you that are judging it. Anybody that is telling you that it's not okay for you to feel what you are feeling, it's only because they are not capable of allowing themselves to feel what they're feeling. That's all. It's not about you. That's why it is so imperative that we are just brutally honest with ourselves and others. And the reason we don't do that is because we are afraid of what people are going to say about us, how they're going to view us, what they're going to think. Like, my friend thought that I actually wanted space from him. I was like, no, I don't give a shit. I don't care what, like, okay, so you're having a rough time. Good. Welcome to the human journey. You should be having a rough time every now and again. If you're not, there's something wrong with you. Because you're not evolved enough to not have rough days. I'm sorry. None of us are. We've got way too much trauma. We have way too much programming in our bodies. If there are people in your lives that when you try to be brutally honest about what you're feeling, they don't want to hear it, they're uncomfortable, they tell you that you're bitching or you're moaning or you're negative or you're this or you're that, it's just that they simply cannot allow that within themselves. And this is one of the biggest, kind of hurdles that we have as humanity, which is why I'm literally, like, one of my biggest commitments is to make the uncomfortable popular, to get out of this idea that it's not okay to talk about that which is really upsetting or bothering you or in you or coming up for you. You know, it makes other people uncomfortable, which is why they don't want to hear it. That's why. Because it makes other people uncomfortable. We should not be silencing ourselves anymore around what we're thinking and what we're feeling. And the more that we can just show up in this desert, on this pilgrimage, in all of our authentic, naked vulnerability, the more courageous, the more empowered, the more sovereign, and the more free you're going to feel. I promise you. In fact, if any of you start being vulnerably authentic and just start with yourself, don't worry about other people. Just be authentic with yourself. Just give yourself every moment. Be in every moment. Feel in every moment. And you don't feel more free, let me know. Be like, Lorie, I've been feeling all the time I don't feel more free. I guarantee you, you will feel more free, you will feel more present, and you'll feel in flow. And you'll start feeling yourself in higher states of awareness. I promise you. I promise. As long as you are not attaching to what you're feeling. A lot of people reach out to me and like, I'm feeling everything, but it's not going away. If you say that, then you're attaching to the emotion. You still believe that you're the emotion. If you say this emotion is not going away, it's still here, that's because you are attaching to the emotion. You're placing some sort of judgment on the emotion. I am this emotion. It needs to go away. You can't need an emotion to go away. You have to just experience the emotion. That's the difference. If you need an emotion to go away, then you are attached to that emotion. You are giving power to that emotion. The most empowered state that you can be in is feeling an emotion, which is just an energy that you don't like, and knowing that you're not it and that it's going to pass and that you are safe to go through it. It doesn't mean you don't have to like it. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get angry about it or have a temper tantrum about it or whatever human experience you have. You're in the desert and there's a person that comes up with a gun in your head, to your head, right? And give me your freaking sleeping bag. That's not fun. You don't like that. That sucks. But what do you feel? That's the empowered state. Give yourself the feeling. It doesn't mean that you are okay with what happened. Oh, I'm just going to be okay with the fact that somebody put a gun to my head and took my sleeping bag. No, you're going to be human and say that is not fair. That sucks. Okay, but just feel. Stay in the feeling state of the human journey. This isn't about going into this like neutral state where all is well and I'm just going to accept everything. No. It's the opposite. When you really start to feel, it's not so much that you're in a neutral state where you're just allowing everything. You are simply in a present moment state, moving in flow, feeling. Big difference. Big difference. All right, you guys, I love you. I'll save this. Hopefully this one will save. My last one didn't save. If it saves, I'll put it up on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Be gentle with yourselves. Don't forget you're on a pilgrimage in the desert. We all are. And there are natural elements, programming and trauma, that are going to continue to be peeled off of you. This is a natural process. Don't try to control it. I love you.